Candijay, nadasigun ka sa kanunay. Upang kasalukon ug mga isla, ug ang kahumayan, nagkakadla. sa kalistanan ang nakikiway, among isingit ang imong kabantong, kaming tanan makibiso. O Candijay, ang Candijay, madasigon ka sa kanunay, upong kasalukon ug mga isda, ug ang kahumayan nagkadlakad. Ang kalinaw ipatunhay sa kalisdanan ang nakikiway, among isingit ang imong kahanggap, kaming tanan nakikiso. Kapulkong tangkaulagan o karuhay, sa pinanggang tagihan.
Okay, hello everyone. So, sorry for my apologies for the inconvenience ganina. So, let's start. So, by the way, I am Renan Amogis and I will be your host today. I hope you are all well. So, to our resource speaker for this webinar, Engineer Nathanael Hinay, sir. To our college dean, Dr. Arlinda N. Ramazola, and to our chairperson of the BACS department, Ma'am Evangeline N. Ulandria, to our participants, the interns of the BACS department, to the faculty of BACS also, thank you for being here with us, even though today is Saturday. So I welcome you all to this webinar entitled Industry-Based Web Development. So it is one of the series of or webinar series that we offer to our interns, since we cannot conduct the traditional on-site internships due to the pandemic. So our webinar topic today, so let me share some screens up. So our webinar topic today is divided into 3 parts. So part 1 is the software development process, then followed by the part 2, which is the Git training, and part 3 will be the Next.js overview and using Git. So our speaker or resource speaker will be having a lecture or demonstration, and we encourage you all to ask questions. And if you have one, you can ask your questions through the chat box, or you can open your microphone to address your question or to raise your question, which is later on after sa lecture and this demonstration, of course, sa every topic part. And there will be a practical exercise for the participants that they will work on their own. And so participants, the interns, be ready. Okay, so to not further delay the main event of this webinar, may I request our chairperson, Ma'am Evangeline Olandria, to introduce us to the resource speaker for this webinar. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, especially to our speaker. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you for accepting our request. It's my privilege to introduce to you our speaker for today's webinar. Our resource speaker for today's webinar entitled Industry Web Development is a Master in Computer Science at Cebu Institute of Technology and a product of BISU as Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. Licenses and its certifications with no expiration on Open Web Application Security Project, Top 10 8x8 Global Anti-Corruption Training Course, and General Data Protection Regulation. Project accomplishment on Edivation, Edivate Observe, and Observation 360. Received honors and awards top 8% in 101JS MongoDB for Node.js developers at MongoDB University on March 2014. Fifth placer on Career Service Examination on March 11, 2007. And National Champion, 10th Philippine Statistic Quiz. A technical project manager at 8x8, a leading software as a service provider of voice, video, chat, contact center, and enterprise class API solutions powered by one global cloud communication platform. A professional with more than 10 years of experience in the IT industry as a software engineer and project manager, Scrum Master on different companies like Wavecell, an 8x8 company, Legal Mats at Zoco, Global Zell, and Realizing Dreams project. He was an information systems analyst of Bohol Island State University from January 2007 to December 2009 with many notable accomplishments. College instructor at Bicep Telescope from June 2006 to December 2006. Before graduating from college, he substituted one of the instructors as per the recommendation of the Dean of the College of Engineering, handled mathematics and programming subjects, and also taught Linux operating system. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our speaker, Engineer Nathanael O. Hinay. Pakpak mo ko mga virtual.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
It's my honor to be
Morning, sir.
today for this training. Okay, so before we start, I would like to just introduce my current company. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm currently working in this company called 8x8. But before 8x8, I was working in Wavecell. Okay. So I was working in Singapore company called Wavecell. So we're offering services for SMS, chat, and video. And then recently, I think sometime last year, we were acquired by 8x8. So we're now part of this parent company in the US. Uh, So this is one of our main products and one of the main projects that I'm currently working on. Main feature of this is that you can send SMS from this app, or we call this web app, and then send it to your mobile number, or if you are a company, you can send SMS like this one. These are actual SMS send to actual numbers. If kabantay mo na yung mga makadawat mo text message usay na ang mumarka sa sender kay dili number but rather text. Those are called sender IDs. So most probably they are using either us or our competitors. Yan ang mga promotional na text or messages. And then, aside from this, we also have a product called 8x8.bc. So this is, actually, if you are trying to make a call using Zoom or Google Meet, actually use this one and then just type the URL. So 8x8.bc, di na ka kinahanglan og app, mo type lang ka kung like Candijay, kung text lang ni, then meet it. Pwede naman dayon mo start og call or video call. Pwede naman ma-share ning URL. Start mo og call. Same service with Zoom and Google Meet. We'll try to use that service after the first part. So in the second part, I'll try to use that. Right. I think that's it for the company intro. We now proceed to the actual trading. Okay. Nakita ka man nino?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Ilan na ako 8% kay makakita kong naimod siya. As much as possible, I'll try to speak in English, but I'll mix in Bisaya just to practice. To start, software development process, it's an overview. This is mainly based on experience so far and some research. So during this part 1 of the training, we'll be talking about some basic structure of an IT company, just to make sure we understand on what are the labels or what are the roles possible, and then common roles in the industry. We'll talk as well about software development process, and then technologies and tools used in our company. So different companies, different tools, different setup as well. And then we'll talk about overview of the agile software development. And then we'll give some inputs on what to prepare for them. Okay, start. So structure of an IT company. Note that structure differs from one company to another. So I have worked so far for at least 3 different companies. They have different setups. Um, but most of the time, they have this, at the top level, we have this board of directors. They are actually the owners or representative of the owners and shareholders. Board of directors. Mga pinaka-powerful sa company. Next part is we have this C-level executives. So, mag-start galing og chief ng ilang posisyon. So, we call them C-level. So, mga chief executive officer, CEO, natay COO, operations for operations, CFO, CTO. Those are the common top level manager at this. Next, we have senior VPs. They are usually reporting to the C-level management. And then VPs, directors, department heads. Usually, it's seldom that you will meet these people unless you are living in or you're working in one building. In our company, we haven't met any of these except for online calls. And then mostly under department heads, we'll have the engineering team and other teams. So inside an engineering team, so far I have worked for at least 4 teams. So we have what we call team lead or a tech lead. As a team lead, you can be a tech lead. Sa Australia na sila option. You can just manage the team or you can be a tech lead as well. In a previous company, I was tech lead as well as managing all the developers and QAs. We have full stack engineers. We'll discuss this later. What are these roles? We have back-end and front-end software engineers, and then quality assurance engineers. Other teams, we have other roles as well, like automation engineers. And then, I'll try to discuss this later. And then most of the time, we have project managers or scrum masters working with the team. Basically, not part of the team, but will be supervising the team. Questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me proceed. So other teams will be working with the engineering team. So far in our company, we have multiple teams. We have teams based in Singapore, in Cebu, in Manila, Indonesia, Thailand, Japan, China, Hong Kong, I think Australia. And we have a sales team in EMEA, which is Europe and Middle East, and then someone in UK as well. So most of the time, there are other teams who will be working with the engineering team. So we have operations team. So operations team, usually mga na sila yung mag-monitor sa inyong system. And as well as entertain sa mga complaints sa customers, and then take forward to primary investigations usually sa mga company for client facing defects or issues. These are part of the operations team. And then once they have details of the issue, they will usually forward to engineering. DevOps team. So, body mo manage sa infrastructure ninyo sa company. So, we have dedicated DevOps team in Singapore. I think all of them are Russians. So, most sa mga senior o mga top-level programmers are Russians. And then DB team, usually in charge for managing our data, making changes to the database, and then backtracking. So our company deals with big businesses as well. So if you have complaints for the billing, it's usually the DB team who will be checking in the database if they're billing coincides with the actual data. And then we have sales team, sales and marketing. There are two departments working to promote the company. Sales for bringing in clients, and then marketing team for promoting our company. The mga special request for new features usually comes from sales during negotiations with big companies. Manage sila source mga requirements. IT, even though IT company may naghapo yung IT department within an IT company. So IT is usually in charge with providing you with computers, setting up your accounts, emails, VPN, mag-reset sa inyong password, o mo-resign mo, mag-deactivate sa inyong accounts, mga level sa IT. Product team, on the thing, usually they will be the one to research competitor products, plan for new features, manage the product requirements, and then plan for the prioritization. So sila may magbuot ng product team. There are other teams who will be working with the engineering team. We have in our company we have security specialists who will usually be dealing with those who are trying to hack into our system. So sila na mga security specialist namin. Okay. Dali lang, okay. Okay. So some of the IT roles in the industry. So mga is roles so far nga naka-work with nako or some I'm unfamiliar with. And then at least with this, magaidan mo kung sa inyong future sa industry. You are planning to apply or planning your career in the future. Maybe aim for one of these. Start interns sa Pinas. Ang interns usually mga OJTs or pwede ka ma-apply. But sa Singapore or sa Australia, ilang mga interns ito are paid interns. And then their companies are required to take in interns, required by law. So far our company daghan big interns. Some are even from Europe who will do internship in Singapore. Some as well are working previously for big companies will transfer for internship. I think they spend about 3 to 6 months doing internship in one company and then transfer to another. Front-end developer. So, front-end developer usually mag-involve kung translating the design. Ito sure na ba ko yung design? Usually, among front-end developer or engineer. So, some other companies, they call it developer. Some companies, in our companies, we call them engineers. So, mag-code sa UI, UX nimo. So, we have UI, UX designer. So, mag-design lang ni ilang role. So, mag-create ng ingani, mga icons, mag-layout sa inyong page. But to translate that into code, we'll have to leave that to front-end developers. Then UI UX designer, kani sila may mag-figure out sa flow sa inyong product, gather sa feedback kung dali ba gamiton yung system or inyong app. And then mag-coordinate with product team. Ano sila? UI UX designer. Then we have mobile application developers. So mobile application developers, pwede ka o tawag nimo mobile, pwede ka both Android and iOS. Some other companies na sila specific developers for specific na phone or OS type. We have what we call back-end developer as well or engineer. Sila mo i-create sa mga APIs. We'll talk later about what technologies involved in back-end development. But usually, ang front-end o back-end developer mag-work with na sila to deliver a product. And if a person is capable enough to do front-end and back-end, we call them full-stack developers. So, maka-work with ka sa database, and then maka-work with ka sa back-end part, and together with the front-end part, you will be called the full-stack developers. In our current company, most of us are full-stack developers, and then we have 2 front-end engineers. We also have language-specific developers. So some companies or even our company, mag-hire me. Ang specification mostly is mag-specify may like Java developer or Golang or C#. Developer. So daghan yung mga opening, you just have to be a master or know at least familiarize yourself with a specific language para maka-apply mo. And then we also have quality assurance engineer. QA ni sila. Ang tawag lang din naman nila kay QA. So sila may mag-test sa products before deployment and then mag-test as well sa product in production environment. So if dili sila mohatag og go signal sa feature nga mayroon sila nga oy dili man maho or may issue, dili na ma-deploy inyo ang feature. Kani quality assurance engineers. We also have automation engineers. I think someone in our company was from Google before. I worked with him. Then nag-separate yung teams sa lahi na yung team, lahi nga product yung work karon. But he was an automation engineer for us. Automated test ilang i-create. So instead nga mag-manual kag click sa button, mag-fill up sa form. We have scripts na i-run lang. Automatic na siya mo test sa inyong app. It's much faster than doing manual testing. And we have software architects. Kani mga senior na sila, mga developers. So usually kung magka-gain ka experience, will be eventually be a software architect. Kung mo stick ka sa software development side. And then we have database developer. So specific sa among company nag-hire gid specific person for database. Even our VP for engineering was a database and still doing some development for database part. But all our full stack engineers, we are able to work for any change in the DB. Need lang na mo ipa-approve sa mga database developers. And then we have DBAs, mga DB admins. DevOps engineer. So mag-maintain sa mga infrastructure sa AWS, sa Google Cloud, mga mga roles sa DevOps. Security specialist. Recently, nag-hire me security specialist. Especially when nag-work mo mga established companies, need mo mga security specialist. If magpa-certify mo sa SOC 2, so need mo ani. Or mag-deal mo, daghan mo, try infiltrate sa inyong system, mag-work, yapan mo ani. If dili mo inline with sa programming, you can go as well for some roles in management. We have product owner, usually mag-research sila sa competitor products, mag-plan sa features, develop. And then we have product managers. Usually, product managers are the one managing the product owner. Or they can be in person. We have business analyst. Sa Australia, business analyst daw tawag nila. Instead of doing product managers or product owners. Scrum Master. We will be working with the engineering team and then data analyst. Data analyst or data scientist, in demand kayo ni currently. So if I'm not sure if you have heard of it, but DOST, Sparta. Ano man ata to? Scholarship. I have heard of it before. So kung namoy time, I'm not sure kung available pa ni sila. Try lang ninyo research. Dahil naka-apply mo. This is actually interesting field. No? Kung kailangan mo mathematics, data interpretation. Gamit kaya ito siya, Sparta. Dito nga project before. I'm not sure if active pa paghihapon until now. But this is a kuan na industry in demand karon data analyst sa Australia, sa US, in demand kayo nila. And mahal kayo ang sweldo. In my previous company, I was able to work with a data scientist. So, need lang ka familiar with SQL or Python or some programming for data analysis. Appeal lang sa mga highest paid sa IT industry. Data analysis. Questions so far? Wala kayo question?
None so far, sir.
Chat lang mo sa inyong question ako ibalhin sa pickas na screen ako ang presentation. Kaya na chat para makakita ka sa inyong na question. Okay, next topic we'll have is super development life cycle. I think na discuss na siguro sa eskwelahan, but we'll cover this here. And then I'll show you how we are doing this in our company. So this is a very simplified version of development process, super development process. So it starts with planning, and then analysis and design, and then implementation, testing, integration, and maintenance. This is very simplified version, but I'll discuss with you here. So planning-wise, the first step is planning. So in our company, we have long-term visions and then short-term visions for the company. So yearly planning, mga top-level management ni. Usually our CEO will have his direction for the company. So previously, we had a different CEO, I think, sometime last year. So he has a different vision for the company. When a new CEO came in last December, he has a different direction. So ipang scrap among projects, some of our projects were changed. So maka-affect ka na yung mga top-level management, mga yearly planning naman. And then quarterly planning, morning abo ang goals sa team na ma-comply. We have goals and initiatives. Let me see if I can share it to you. Here. So we have like this one. This is our quarterly roadmap, composed of different teams. So ano yun namin items. We have start and end date of the project. So as much as possible, we'll try to finish this within the quarter. Kaya namin gitrack ng mga goals and initiatives. So ma-reflect sa among performance o kung saan na comply na. So within sa planning, mga sources naman sa requirements usually are top level management nga gikan sa yearly, quarterly, and then some requests from sales, product managers, product owners, and then usually sa engineering side we have big debts or any vital projects sa engineering side, i-appeal naman sa quarterly planning. And then we have what we call sprints, which is usually 1 week or 2 weeks Currently, we are doing 2 week sprints, and then sometime we have a shorter sprint, but it's very seldom. In some companies, they have weekly sprints. We call them sprints. It's just a 2 week period where we plan our usually ma-involve ano yung product teams and engineering leads, mga analysis and design. Namin mga product requirements. So sample of that will be, try na ko una ba ko yung mga product requirements. What is sure. Yeah. So sample product requirement, we have this, like this one. Background goals, we have mock-ups or design, we have this. And then on the engineering side, we will be planning that as well on how to implement. Usually we factor that in this phase. So mag-estimate may pila ka weeks ang duration sa project. Pila ka developers ang required. Kapil na sa mo ang kaning time. Usually kani buhaton during quarterly planning. Okay, implementation phase. These are the actual coding or implementation. So mag-start ka sa local machine mo. So ingani. So example of this, usually start here and then mag-test ka na kay, we have different environments for and we have what we call beta or we call them staging. These are environments before actual production. Ang production nga term, mo refer na kung unsa ang live site na or client na ang mo-access. Those are what we call. So testing and deployment, multiple stages ni ang testing. So testing, mo ni role sa quality assurance engineers. So inig-test sa dev una or develop or depende sa inyong company what you sa tawag niyo, but kung dili na mo pass ana nga stage, mo balik na sa dev. And then time work management, so nami ingani kung ipakita nako ganina, so ingani yun mo pag-manage ang mga work. So kani mga new features, kani sila new features. The red ones kani mo ni mga bug tickets, or these are issues na reported or na need na mo i-address. Okay. As mentioned, natay multiple level of testing. Pwede ta i-appeal ang natay automated test na pwede i-appeal during build process. Ipakita na ako later kung unsa nang build process during the discussion sa Agile. Maintenance works after deployment. Kung publicly accessible na inyong product or new features, dili man napasagdan afterwards. So nanay monitoring, alerting, nay amuan who monitors kung nabay issues, and then kung nay complaints from customers, mao ni role sa operations team na mo. And then sales team as well. Kung na sila major clients, so mostly nami managers who will be dealing with customers. So kung naay issue, encounter ang customer or na sila report, usually sa manager na sila mo deal or dito sa operations. And then from here sila mo investigate sa issue, and then if na yung existing issue na need i-address, contact sila sa engineering team. Question before we proceed to another topic?
None so far, sir.
None, sir.
Okay. Okay, technologies used in the company. So kani mga dili necessary nga kakaibaw pa dapat ana ani, no? I started nung nag-start og development, dili sad ko familiar ani mostly. Nalang ko 1 or 2 familiar. But then eventually kung sige work with some companies, naka-familiarize ako. And this will be a good input for students, no? Kung ganahan mo magplano kung asa mo mga apply in the future, you should at least know kung unsa ilang technology gigamit ng company, at least na kay option. Baka answer ka sa ilang test or questions. About, I think, 6 years ago or 8 years ago, I was in a company called Global Zeal. So na nang apply dito fresh grads from San Carlos. So ang ginamit na mo before was Node.js. And then we have, I think, Marionette, and then Angular. And then ang mga students kay Galiran Har, mainly because na-mention nila nga during thesis or katong project nila sa ilang last year sa school, ang gigamit nila nga technology, tech stack, kay same sa among company. So nag-goal na sila lang kung asas lang apply. So we hired, I think, at least 4 of them sa una. Karon mga one of the good developers I know in Cebu. So in our company, we are using these technologies. We have Java. I think naman siguro ni sa school. Sa among time, walang Java, C, C++ na .NET Core. Mainly ang nagamit na mo Java, .NET Core. These are used by guys in Singapore. In the Cebu team, we are using this one, Node.js. Advantage for using Node.js is that if familiar ka sa JavaScript, which was used to run only in browser, but then with Node.js, it can run server side or in the terminal. So familiar ka sa JavaScript, naka-code ka back-end and front-end. So mo ni advantage. At least isa ka language ra imo ang kunan, which is learning nimo gamay ra. So Node.js mo ni ang gigamit kuha happy. And then Golang nagamit sa miyan. And then database side, we have MS SQL. As long as you are familiar with SQL, magamit lang na nimo sa industry. And then we have MongoDB. This is a new NoSQL. Trenton is NoSQL. Hindi ko sure, nakadungog mo mo. Hopefully. So, mga trend, NoSQL. So dagani sila SQL. So we have MongoDB, DynamoDB kani. Daghan pa din other new SQL. Pwede mo mag-research or familiarize yourself with those technologies kung namoy tayo. So instead na magbuta mo, spend lang mo time with research. MongoDB, Redis, gamit sa net tayo Redis sa mga temporary storage or management of dali mga transient data, Redis. Front-end side na mo, kung so this project here, kaning project, ang gigamit mo ani mainly Vue.js. And then na may back-end platform, we are using React with DBA. Sa ini nga side kung unsa inyo makita ani, so these are Vue.js. And then element UI, kani mga buttons, kani dili na mo mag-create sa yourself. So magamit mo mga UI libraries. So we have element UI or ANSI. So daghan na sila mga UI libraries, no? So element UI. Kani. Pwede mo maka-search ni Beautify, Material UI, klase. Depende sa inyong ganahan. Ang nainindot ka kuan kani pwede mo magtuon na ni Telwin. Yes. Pwede ninyo magamit sa inyong projects. Nindot na siya. We have used this in some of our projects. Moment.js. But these technologies, it does not mean magtuon ka na, magtuon na pagkasunod sa lain, no? Pag-master sa lang una o isa, or at least makagama mong project using one, ang dili mo kanang walay focus bitaw, wala na lang mo kuan ma-master. So at least mag-familiarize mo ani. Magdepende ninyo kung asa mo ganahan. So either mo choose mo React or Vue.js or Angular, pili mo sa pili mo ana. And then sa server side naman we have AWS. Daghan ni product ang AWS. Napod may GCP, which is kaning group sa Google, competitor sa AWS. We're using this as well for deployment. Kanang we call regional deployments na po. So some countries like Indonesia, I think, I'm not sure of Thailand. Sa US, I think, California, mag-require sila nga ang data sa ilang citizens will be stored sa ilang country. So, nang explore na mong company yung regional deployment. So, kita nila ang solution is using GCP sa Google. So, pwede mo deploy part sa among database na nag-store of client data, users data ato sa Indonesia. Docker, Kubernetes, gamit kayo na mo, mga Docker. Labi na sa among back-end side, mag-deploy ni padung sa AWS, use Docker. On setup na mo among platform ito. So, naka-Docker na mo ang Docker image. So, nami Docker Hub, ma-store sa mga Docker images. Then Kubernetes, recently nagamit niya ni Kubernetes for orchestration and deployment. Git, Bitbucket, gamit kayo ni. So one of the core na skill set na pangitaon mostly sa developers nga mag-work o team. So kani background sa Git. Either magamit ta og Bitbucket for kanang hosting sa inyong Git repository or pwede po GitHub. So kani mga as individual pwede mo sign up ani. I think nag-send ko ninyo before og guide mag-sign up mo dapat sa GitHub. No? Free na ilang mga accounts, at least maka-familiarize ta later sa actual training kung unsay process na unsay role na ng Git. And we are using Bitbucket pipelines in our company. So nami ingani pipelines which kung in-merge nimo sa imong changes we call it merging. So in-merge nimo sa imong changes gali automatic na siya mo build wala na human intervention. And then auto-deploy na siya. So kani padong sa production, kani staging, we have padong sa development environment. Nganing pipelines. Napod may mga so namin mga ingani pull request. Discuss man ako ni later, but this is one of our process. No? So before ma-deploy mo code, nakakagitawag approval. So we call this code reviews. So dapat na may mga check or approval gikan from other devs before ka maka-deploy sa imong changes. And then for monitoring sa among products or sa among system, we have Grafana, Kibana, Slack. So mga alert na mo. We have alerts like this. So namin mga inganing alerts. And then Jenkins, we use this for builds. Currently, transition to GitHub, so part of our infrastructure, we're using Jenkins for the build process. Questions on this before we proceed?
Questions?
Wala na, continue. Tools used in the industry. So mga communication tools na mo gigamit. So emails, primary communication naman for formal communication or emails. But during the event, gigamit na mo is Slack. So chat mostly. Communication naman via Slack. And then calls 8x8.pc. Video calls. Sa among machines, kanang company issued machines, kung mo-open mo may Google Meet, ma-dong ni sa 8x8.pc. So set up competitor product sa Google Meet, among product na 8x8 video call. So they may allow mo gamit starting last year, I think. Documentations, Google Docs, spreadsheets, Confluence. Nasiya. Confluence related ni sa Jira. So project management naman, we have Jira, Confluence. Itong ipagkita na kanila na mga tasks. Ito yung Jira nga platform. I'll introduce later kung sa'yo pag-gamit sa school, kung Kani Trello, pwede niyo gamiton for simple projects. Pwede ta maka-work na. Kani Trello. Confluence for documentations na mostly. Ano mga some kani I think ang Jira o Confluence Jira right? I think libre ra so pwede ra mo sign up. Kung mag-start mo sa iyong thesis as a team mag-work mo para ma-familiar mo dito, sign up mo din. And then Bitbucket for Git or GitHub pwede ba sa free versions gihapon.
Ang Trello, sir.
Free na siya. I think nag-create ko gabi man siguro kani para nasan kong task but it will take a time to introduce man so wala na lang ni proceed. So mo ni siya simple. Pwede ka mag-create og card sa inyong projects kung pwede mo create admin page. Okay. Pwede ka mag-assign kani nga. Kung daghan mo member sa isa ka board, daghan siya mo display dire. So pwede mo pwede niyo ma-track in progress ninyo, like i-move ba na diha. Same concept pa ni sa Jira sad. Actually, they belong to the same company. Kay gipalit man ng Trello sa tagiya sa Jira. So, in our tracking before, we use this. Aside from Jira, we use Trello as well for mga simple tracking. Nasa ni mga deadlines, I think. Pwede maka-set of labels, dates.
Weekend nga dashboard, sir.
Ano sa itong question? Weekend? Di ko familiar sa weekend. Actually, haven't used it. So far sa past 3 IT companies nga na-work natubuan ako, we use Jira and then there's I think US nga product. Kalimot ako. Kadali ra to nagamit na mo. But mostly kung mag-recommend me kung tana mo ang management kung unsay mo i-recommend. We recommend this one, Jira. Kay familiar and then dali set up and then pwede nimo ma-restrict ang usage from one board to another and then na-upload sila ng mga reports makakuan sa tracking sa progress sa team. Questions, any aside, before we proceed sa Agile Software Development?
Questions? May question si Sir Narel Platino, sir. Okay rawi kan sa chat box. Okay rawi kan, sir. Question ni mo, Narel?
We can actually dili ko familiar ani. Pensus kan dan. Pwede na magamit tool. It's mainly used for tracking man, no? So pwede na sa inyo magamit. Hindi na ako familiar. Kanina. Sa mga na trabahuan ng companies, so far, ang nagamit na mo is we have used Trello before. We have used mainly, mostly kay Jira. And then, ano sa ito ilain? Nakalimot kung sa ito yung third na paano mo tracking. Basta established companies nga na trabahuan ako so far, kanira na gamit. Pero parehara man na sila setup most of the time. I think we'll just take 5 minutes break. Paso tubig, and then we'll be back 10:35 to continue on this one.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, on mic.